Thank you for joining us today. We feel we have a great product to show you. After much anticipation, we are happy to introduce the PengPod 1040, a unique product unlike anything on the market. This tablet will easily transition from work life to home life. You can run all your business software, then come home and watch videos with the family, all in a seamless manner. Now here's Neil with a little more about the philosophy of PengPod.
Hi, I'm Neil Peacock. I'm the founder of PengPod, and I wanted to take a minute to talk about our philosophy as a company and kind of what we're trying to create with these products. And so I'm a big believer in open systems. And of course, when Android first came out, I was very excited about it. And I do like Android and still use it for my phone personally, of course. And what I did find, though, was that a lot of the applications and software that I was familiar with and like to use wasn't available for Android. Some still isn't. And so a lot of us at the time were playing with chroot and some other tricks to kind of get access to the tools that we wanted. But there's always a trade-off with that. And so we wanted a real GNU Linux OS running right on the processor. And that's what we have created with the PengPod. And that's our mindset. I believe, and we believe, that you should own your hardware. You bought it, it should be yours. You should be able to do whatever you want. Whatever is in your ability to attempt to do with the device, you should be free to succeed in that or to fail in that, but it's your time and your efforts that should be spent on it. You shouldn't be trying to work around restrictions that we've put on the devices. And so our commitment is to create a platform that works for you right off. We're going to deliver you a working Linux boot and Android. And we're going to deliver the source for all of our tools. And so if you have an idea of modifying something we've created, we're not going to stand in your way. All that source is available online. All the tools that we use to modify the devices and create our images is going to be online and available. And let's see, we're going to make sure you have everything we have to create what you want, because we can't think of everything, right? Obviously. And our users really impressed us with the first generation devices, our PengPod1040 and PengPod1040. People came up with all kinds of things that we hadn't thought of. There was a door control system, the access cards. Someone had made low-cost user terminals with their own data entry programs. Let's see. There was like a SCADA industrial control system with temperature sensors, a boat GPS navigation system. A couple of companies made 3D printer controls with a nice touch control system. And then there was an Open Bravo POS restaurant software, so you could do a low-cost, touch register system. And there's really a lot of expensive industrial control type systems out there. And that's part of what we noticed, is there's no reason these days to have to spend that much money for a high-powered, low-cost touchscreen control device. The hardware's out there, and we're trying to give you access to it. There's a whole world out there of open source software that already meets everyone's needs. So we just want to create a platform for you to be able to fulfill your needs, to get your software running, to get your application running on some of this great hardware which is available now. And so that's the goal at PengPod. We don't want to limit your potential. We want you to be able to reach your goals on your tablet.
We are happy to introduce the PengPod 1040 with our highest resolution screen yet. It has 2048 pixels by 1536 pixels. Pictures are absolutely stunning on this device. We have upgraded all the hardware on the PengPod 1040 to make sure it competes with all the top of the line tablets on the market. Now here's Neil with a little bit more information.
This is the PengPod1040 tablet we're introducing here. It's a 9.7-inch tablet. It's got a 2048 pixel by 1536 pixel screen, so very high resolution. It's got two cameras. Got a front camera and back camera. Let's see. It's got a separate DC charger slot, headphone jack, power and volume buttons, SD card slot, USB on-the-go connector, so that can be used either as a USB master with the included adapter, or that can be a device for ADB and Android or Linux gadget drivers, and a mini HDMI adapter or connector, so you can use that with an adapter. Let's see here, and just fire this thing up real quick. Also included are some accessories. It comes with a DC charger. Now you note this is a European charger, but we do provide. Basically, everyone's going to get a US charger in the US, and if you're in the EU, the UK, or Australia, we're going to try to give you a adapter plug, basically a little socket adapter for your country. Also included is a micro USB cable and the on-the-go adapter we mentioned before, so you can use full-size USB accessories.
Coming up is just going to be a couple clips giving you a full overview on what the PengPod can really do.
So now we're going to demonstrate the PengPod bootloader. Get this turned on here. And this is a, dual boot or more boot options setup, which allows us to boot between Android and Linux. And so it comes up pretty quick here. And basically, if you don't press any button in 5 seconds, it's going to go ahead and boot to your default choice. You use the arrow button or the volume buttons as like up and down, so you can go up and down to your options, and the power button will select. And so let's see if we can see here. Try to get that up close. So basically, we have our default OS option, our Linux option, our Android option. Extra OS, there's a space in the partitions where you can configure either a third OS or maybe a trial version of a Linux OS you're playing with, or even like a recovery image with like something like the Lenaro minimal image. Let's see, you can set the default boot options. I'll show you that real quick. Let's see. So you go to the set default, and then you just pick whichever one, so we'll set Android, and we'll see that coming up in a sec. And then there's another option, which is resize partitions. When you first get the device, the partitions aren't as big as they can be, the space on the drive, and so you use that to maximize how much room you have. And then you've got the standard Android recovery options down there as well. So let's see. So let's just boot into Android and see it come up here. So there you go. So basically it resets and starts booting into the operating system you've picked. And these are our Android load screens here. So there we are in Android. Let's say you've been working and decide you're ready to go back and do something in Linux. So we'll start it back up. The right button there. There we go. And this time we'll tell it to boot onto Linux. And for those of you counting, that's about 25 seconds, including the bootloader time getting into Linux. And so, there we are. So, that is how you can flip back and forth between Android and Linux. So this is a quick demonstration of some of the software available for the PengPod1040 tablet. This is our Linux image. Now it runs Linaro, which is based on Ubuntu for ARM. So a lot's available just right from the repositories. So Synaptic Package Manager, that comes installed. So you can install things that way or with apt from the command line. We have the Florence keyboard now, if you're familiar with it. It's a great little, simple screen keyboard. I think it's a lot better than the one we had before. Let's see, we have GIMP for photo editing. You really want a mouse to use that one, but it's there. Let's see. We got LibreCAD. That's a pretty good little CAD program. Let's see. And LibreOffice, of course, available. And of course, if you're not familiar, it's a great little office suite, compatible with Microsoft products. And so all this and more is available right from the Ubuntu Linaro repositories when you're using the PengPod in Linux. This is a demonstration of how you can easily use the shared drive to work. So I got an email in here with an Excel sheet, and I say, well, I don't want to work on that Excel sheet under Android. I like to work on that with LibreOffice with a full, Office client. So I'm going to save that to our typical Android storage space, and I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to reboot the device into Linux. Now there's that Android storage is shared so that Linux can mount it up as well. So any pictures you take, any emails you want to download, any videos you want to watch, everything like that can easily be moved between the two systems. And so basically we just flick back over, pick that we want to boot to Linux, and within about 30 seconds here Linux should boot on up, and we'll be able to work on that same Office file with LibreOffice. And you can do the same thing with GIMP if you've got photos to edit. We showed that CAD software if you want to take out a CAD model somebody sent you. There's lots of development environments like for Qt and all that will load up software development kits that you can get to quickly in Linux. And so let's see. So we will load up LibreOffice here, and as soon as that comes up, so we just head on over to the shared drive, and there it is, our file we were emailed, and voila, and we've got a full featured Office client to do whatever we need to do for this. And when we're done, we can save it back and get to it again in Android if we want to send it back out, but keep using a nice touch focused email client like comes with Android.